We talk about premium experiences all the time here on the Buzzcast as people are paying more and more to have a lifelong memory. Well, here's one outside of sports. Fans of the rock band Kiss can go above and beyond the normal VIP experience. They can spend more than $12,000 to be the personal assistant to Gene Simmons, and they can also be a roadie for one day. Yes, Gene Simmons' personal assistant and a roadie for one day, all for more than $12,000. We see more and more VIP experiences. And this is your morning Buzzcast for Monday, March 17th. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm Abe Madcore. Thanks for listening to the Buzzcast. Well, the tournament brackets are set, and let's start first with the men's tournament. What a power move by the SEC, as that conference got 14 of its 16 teams into the men's tournament. It has 2 number 1 seeds, 2 number 2 seeds, and 6 top 4 seeds, all a record. The emphasis by Commissioner Greg Sankey and others to be a dominant conference in basketball has paid off. And the SEC, which last won a men's basketball national championship in 2012, made history with 14 of its representatives among the 68 teams to make the field. Now, the highest prior mark was the Big East, which had 11 bids in 2011. So the SEC's 14 teams were followed by the Big Ten that had 8. The Big 12 had 7. The ACC, once that vaunted basketball power, ended up with 4 teams, barely avoiding its worst showing since 2000, when the conference wasn't nearly as big as it is now. So the bottom line on the men's side, a real chest-pounding day for the SEC. So on the women's side, a strong run of top seeds. UCLA, South Carolina, USC, Texas, all number 1 seeds. UCLA and USC are, of course, new to the Big Ten. They'll try to win the first national championship for that conference since 1999 on the women's side. A very strong showing by the Big Ten, as a record 12 teams from that conference are in the women's field. The SEC, 10. The ACC, 8, and the Big 12 has 7. So again, the Big Ten, the power conference when it comes to women's basketball. All in all, it's setting up to be a very strong and fun tournament on both sides. Let's move on. I've said before, the Professional Women's Hockey League continues to perform well in its second season. You know, they're doing these neutral site games, and they've all drawn well. Well, the neutral site game in Detroit on Sunday night between New York and Minnesota broke a record for attendance at a pro women's hockey game in the United States. More than 14,200 fans at Little Caesars Arena on Sunday night, a record, and it was great timing, as the record comes as the PWHL is in the final stages of evaluating expansion proposals for up to 2 new teams that could launch as early as next season. So Detroit certainly put on a good show, as it aims to prove it could be a great market for women's hockey, and the PWHL certainly having no sophomore jinx, having a very strong second season. Meanwhile, the NWSL kicked off its 2025 season over the weekend, and the league continues to grow on the business side. Here's what we will keep an eye on. Can the league draw more viewers? As in 2024, the regular season averaged 175,000 viewers. The championship game in November averaged close to 1 million viewers. So we'll want to see growth there. We'll also keep our eye on attendance, as the league averaged 11,200 fans per match last season. That was the league's highest ever mark, and up 6% from 2023. Overall, you saw some teams see some big gains at the gate last year. So can they continue to grow attendance? Saturday's numbers saw a mix. We saw as many as 19,000 in Orlando. We saw a sellout of 11,500 at KC Stadium in Kansas City, but you only saw about 2,800 in Louisville. So like a lot of leagues, the NWSL has some markets much stronger than others. In addition to viewership and attendance, we'll keep our eye on new brands signing deals with the NWSL, and there has been some growth on sponsorship. I love the new deal with Alex Cooper's Unwell brand, and let's be honest, this league has to work very hard to grow, and it's brick by brick. Building a league is not for the faint of heart. Here's what we do know. One team is changing their name. Yes, the Boston NWSL expansion team, which is slated to start playing next year, will no longer be called Boss Nation FC. That name is no more. The team will change its name after having conversations with fans and several months of research and surveys. The team's name has been controversial since it was unveiled earlier this year, and the new name will be announced in the next few weeks for Boston's NWSL expansion franchise. Yes, it's big in Japan. I know, a bad play on the song, but I will say it again. You cannot overlook just how successful Major League Baseball's foray into Japan has been. Here's what we saw over the past weekend. The Dodgers played an exhibition game Sunday that drew more than 42,000 at the Tokyo Dome. The Dodgers game on Saturday had an atmosphere like a playoff game. Fans paid as much as $600 on the secondary market. Fanatics in baseball opened a 31,000 square foot store at the Tokyo Dome. It opened at 5:30 a.m. local time Friday morning with 700 staffers and more than 300 products on sale. Now, this is just one of 3 stores across the city, and MLB expected around 100,000 total fans to visit the stores over the next few days. Merchandise sales in Japan by Fanatics up 170% last year. It continues to grow. And over the weekend, of course, Shohei Ohtani's Dodgers jersey with a specifically designed Tokyo Series patch was the top seller. The Dodgers have done just so many strategic moves to grow their business in Japan. The team established a membership for fans in Japan where if a fan paid $500, they were able to secure the right to buy 2 tickets to one of this past weekend's games. And this membership program that they have in Japan, 4 levels. The top level was $500 per person, and that sold out at 1,200 members. The other membership levels cost $120, $100, $45. All membership levels include discounts on tickets and merchandise. The Dodgers Japan Fan Club is not open to fans outside Japan, and it's another indication how smart this organization has been in terms of growing its fan base in that market. Staying with baseball, we know that Eddie Vedder loves sports. We know he loves baseball. And now we have the Vedder Cup starting in 2025. What is the Vedder Cup? Well, it's an annual event, and it features the Padres and the Mariners. Eddie Vedder has connections to both markets. He grew up in San Diego. Of course, he became famous in Seattle. Fans of the teams who already share the Peoria sports complex have been referring to the rivalry as the Vedder Cup for some time. But now it's official. The Vedder Cup was a collaborative way to really bring this thing to life. It was a cool concept. Eddie Vedder is open to it. He'll be providing one of his guitars as the traveling trophy. The teams will play a pair of 3-game series, one in May, one in August, and the Padres will host a Vedder Cup Series theme game in May. The Mariners will have a Vedder Cup ticket special in August, and of course, there'll be Vedder Cup merchandise at both team stores. So a fun element here around Eddie Vedder with the Padres and the Mariners. And we know that golf will be played extra on St. Paddy's Day at the Players' Championship. SBJ's Josh Carpenter has some exclusive news that the United States Golf Association is in the market for its next media rights partner after its exclusive negotiating window with NBC expired without a deal. So NBC's deal to carry the USGA championship, including the US Open, expires at the end of 2026. It was expected that the USGA would test the open market with all the changes in the media landscape. NBC took over rights from Fox starting with the 2020 US Open. NBC has a long history with the USGA. It's not clear which networks or companies will be in the mix for the rights, and the USGA could split a package of US Open and US Women's Open, or they could bundle everything together. So a lot of decisions to make by the United States Golf Association as it hits the market to test the media marketplace and see about landing a new media rights partner. And so that is your morning Buzzcast for Monday, March 17th. I'm Abe Madcore. Thanks for listening to the Buzzcast. Stay healthy. Be good to each other. My colleagues will bring you the Buzzcast the rest of this week. I'll be out in Los Angeles at our Business of Soccer conference. I'll speak to you again later down the road.